When I was a small boy, once upon a time, I used to walk to school with all my friends. Now, you could do this then. The world was quite safe. There were hardly any cars. I wasn't going to get knocked down. And we lived in a little sheltered existence. But in today's globalized world, I don't think I could do that anymore. There are too many cars. People are rushing around, earning money, buying things, accumulating lots of wealth. This wealth makes us happy, right? Sure, but it's also making our planet rather sick. Our oceans are full of plastic. The drinking water that we want is scarce. Our forests and jungles are disappearing. And the soil that we use to grow our crops is toxic. More than that, this lovely, beautiful, protective layer of our atmosphere, the very thing that keeps this planet alive, we're treating it as a common sewer. Every day, pumping gallons and gallons of toxic gases into this air. We need to breathe this. We must be absolutely mad. So, like many of you, I try and do some sustainable things to save the planet, make me feel better. I particularly focus on energy and transport. I'd like to tell you I walk to work. I don't. But I do ride a public bicycle every day. I don't own a car, but I do use car share app like Didi and Uber, same as you guys. I try not to use an elevator. I always walk up the stairs. But then I only live on the 3rd floor, so it's no great hardship. To get to this conference, do you know how I came? I came by BMW. Did you see it in the lobby when you came in? That's not very sustainable, you say. Actually, it wasn't that BMW. My BMW is different. It's an acronym. B for bike, M for metro, W for walk. Here's my public bike card. It's green like the cards. Here's my metro card. And these are my little walking cards. Now, China is actually at the forefront of sustainable transport, and they're doing some really great things that should be applauded. Out there, you know, we've got electric bicycles, BYD, not far away, building us new e-cars and buses. You're all using Didi Dacha and car-sharing apps, and we've got new cities building metro lines. Perhaps the most impressive is the high-speed rail network that China is building right across the country, which saves us getting on aeroplanes. It really is quite impressive. However, I do still worry about the world, as you can see. I worry about what sort of world it will be for my children to live in. I'm sure you worry about what sort of world it'll be for you to go to work in just a few years. It's changing so fast. Now, I've got a theory. It might look a bit like this. Now, Hollywood has been really at the forefront of envisioning what our futures may look like. This is a still from the movie Blade Runner. And science fiction writers also started this. We could go back 150 years almost with Jules Verne and his book, 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea. In this, he envisages what it would be like to travel in an advanced submarine. This is 150 years ago. Not long after, H.G. Wells had War of the Worlds. Here we've got spacecraft. We're being invaded by aliens from another planet. It's incredibly visionary. The movies were quick to get involved. 1927, and this is Metropolis. This is an iconic movie, and every architecture student I know has watched this. In this world, a powerful industrialist looks down from his tower on the technicized systems below where all the people are living. This is the first movie that portrays a human-looking robot. It's so important that it's actually the first movie on the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage List, and went on to influence lots and lots of Hollywood directors, from Ridley Scott and Blade Runner to George Lucas and Star Wars, many others. Let's have a look at Blade Runner. There's that still again. Now, this has become known as the standard dystopian future. It's set in Los Angeles sometime in this 21st century. The streets are dark, no light penetrates. It's grimy. Harrison Ford is there running around trying to find crooks in this dark underworld of crime. What I like about this movie is actually something a little bit different. It saw quite early that we were going to have huge digital billboards all around the city advertising product and keeping us informed. We're seeing this now everywhere, particularly Asian cities, from Japan, Korea, and a lot here now in China. Anyone know who this is? Hi, I'm Johnny. This is the first automated taxi that I know about. What I can tell you, though, is that automated taxis are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. So Star Wars, and I've picked this planet. It's Coruscant. It's a developer's dream. Why? Because every little inch has been developed. The whole planet has got skyscrapers to the clouds and deep into the world. I'm not sure I want to live in a planet like that, but we've got 10 billion people to put here very, very soon. Is everything going to become developed? For the movie Total Recall, the researchers looked at all the advanced technologies available in the day and compared them and put them together to create a city of the future. They thought of the political systems, the cultural systems, the social layers, infrastructure, and transport. And when they created this vision of a city, they wrote the plot for the movie. It was kind of backwards, very interesting. That's why Tom Cruise speeds along in his automated vehicle, not just horizontally, but vertically. It's really quite impressive. Now, the National League of Cities have suggested that automated vehicles are going to be absolutely commonplace by the year 2030. Now, I'm not sure about that. I think it might be a little bit sooner. So this is the last movie. It came out this year, and in it we've got different cultural districts. We've got cleverly planned transport infrastructure. We've got high-tech heating and cooling systems. It's got lots of animals as well. There it is, Zootopia. This is a very, very visionary movie. The trees that we actually see in this are sophisticated cooling systems. They're steam pumps, and they bring up water to the top, and then they sprinkle the air to keep the city cool. Now, Hollywood, as we've seen, has been painting different pictures of what the future might actually be like. I've given you a very bleak outlook of a dying planet that we're all polluting. What might it be like? I'm suggesting here that big data and automated vehicles in particular are going to actually transform our cities in the next few years. Now, let's look at that. The US media, just last year, 1st of April, said that the mayor of New York had signed a contract with Google to put their driverless cars in the New York taxi fleet, 5,000 of them, by the year 2016. That's now, right? Are they there? Does anybody know? They're not. What happened? Why are these driverless cars not there? Actually, because it was an April Fool's joke. And it first came out in 2012. At that time, it seemed quite visionary and exciting, but plausible. Last year, it seemed completely realistic, and everybody wondered if it was going to happen. By 2020, it's almost inevitable. But it's not going to be New York that's the first to do it. That accolade is going to go to Singapore, who's already signed contracts with 7 companies to produce driverless taxi fleets by the year 2020. This one, Nutonomy, it's actually a US company, is gunning to be the first. They've stated that their taxi fleet will go on the streets of Singapore this year for public testing. Let's not stop there just with cars, because the race is on for the skies, and autonomous aerial vehicles are where we're going next. We know that humans are not safe. Autonomous vehicles are going to be our future. This was produced this year. In the show, this model could fly at low altitude for 80 kilometers, that's about 20 minutes. And you know how you fly it? You take your phone out, your iPhone, and you put it in, and you press your destination, and it will fly you there. Everybody can have one. This is quite amazing. Now, this is made in China, so China is actually at the forefront of this technology, as perhaps you all know. Now, I'm quite excited to get in one of these and fly around, but I'm also a little worried. What if there's 1,000 of these? All you guys in the room suddenly want to go home. It's taxi time, call one of these flying machines and let's go. It's going to be chaos in the skies. How do you organize that? And this is a problem that developers have been looking at, in fact, for the last few years. So I'm going to take you back 5 years to a little TED talk that happened then that tries to explain how all these autonomous vehicles actually need to communicate with each other, not just us, to make sure that they're safe.
The team can also navigate in environments with obstacles.
Actually, I find that quite hypnotic. I can watch that again and again and again. And it's amazing, but it does show you that these things can be reconciled. But that's 5 years ago. This year, Guinness World Records had an attempt in Germany in January to put 100 of these flying machines in the air together, flying around without hitting each other. I've got another link for you. I think what you can see, as I'm trying to tell you, is that tomorrow's world is actually already here today. The technology is there. What's been missing is the infrastructure in our cities. These have been developed for completely different types of transport, traditional road transport. Actually, autonomous vehicles don't need roads like we know them. What's more, autonomous aerial vehicles, they don't need roads at all. So our cities are going to have to change. I think I'm quite excited about this for 3 particular reasons. Firstly, these autonomous vehicles solve what we call the holy grail of transport planning. We call it the last mile problem. Now, as you know, I'm a big fan of public transport, so I take the metro. But the problem is, when I arrive at the station, I've still got to get to my home. It's raining, and I've brought all these bags with me, and I'm getting old and I walk slowly. And I don't want to go on my bike because it's too difficult a balancing act. So what do I need? I need that car. But I'm saying We don't want to have cars in our cities. They're going to be replaced. The autonomous vehicle is our solution. It takes us door to door, and this is a great achievement. But it goes further than that, because autonomous aerial vehicles, they go door to floor. Let's have a look at how all this might work. We're going to get streams and streams of vehicles crossing our skies. The roads are going to be up in the air. 20 meters, 40 meters, 60 meters. We don't need roads on the ground anymore. Star Wars was right. Roads in the sky. Very visionary. Now, the interesting thing is, what happens when you get to your floor? We can now use roofs, balconies, refuge floors in buildings. We can build skyports right into our apartments. Oh, look, Star Wars thought of that already. Amazing. This is the future. Okay, that might take a little while, but immediate uses are more for civic duties. Let's think about security, firefighting, medical services, even general building maintenance, cleaning windows. These things can all be done by drones and autonomous maintenance vehicles. What this does is frees up our building codes. They're made for different types of maintenance. They're made from ground access. So we're going to have more flexibility in how we put our buildings together. We're going to have more flexibility in how we design our streets. The third thing, when we get rid of private vehicles in the city, is we don't need parking. Now, parking is really, really inefficient use of our city streets. 90% of the time, our cars are sleeping. You're not driving them at all. But our autonomous vehicles, they're going to be working 24/7. Buzz, 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 here, there, no stop. They don't need to park. All that space for parking can be used for other things, like skyports. Actually, it can be used for a lot of other things. What it means is there's going to be a lot more space on the ground. What it means is our streets are going to be safer, especially when I'm cycling along. What it means is our streets are going to be cleaner. There's going to be no pollution from vehicles. What it means is they're going to have less obstructions. We're not going to need traffic lights, or road signs, or railings, or barriers, or any of those traditional encumbrances that limit how we move around our streets. What it means is we're going to have more space, a lot more green space. Today's streets are actually tomorrow's parks. Now, I said to you that the visions of Hollywood are amazing. We've got the nightmare of Blade Runner. We've got the corporate wealth of Metropolis. Or perhaps we've got the different cultural neighborhoods of Zootopia. Which one do you think it's going to be? I think perhaps a little of all of them. And I leave you with my visions for the future of cities. Thank you.